Welcome to Demolition Worker, where we tear down giants. Today, we face the ultimate symbol of global power and immense prestige. We are standing right inside Andrews Air Force Base, looking at a retired presidential aircraft, waiting for its final dismantling process. This is not just any regular airplane waiting for scrap. This is the legendary Air Force One from a forgotten era. For decades, this magnificent flying fortress carried the most powerful leaders across the globe during moments of intense historical global tension. Now it sits silently on the concrete tarmac, waiting for our heavy machinery to strip away its glorious and majestic history. Unlike commercial airliners filled with cheap plastic seats, this cabin features rich walnut, wood, premium leather, and gold-plated communication devices. Before the massive excavators arrive, we must carefully coordinate a skilled team to manually dismantle every single piece of luxury interior. Our workers step inside the quiet cabin, feeling the ghosts of past presidents and diplomats who once made crucial decisions here. First, we target the main conference room, where heavy oak tables and premium leather chairs are unbolted from the cabin floor. Every screw removed feels like erasing a tiny piece of history that shaped the modern world during the late 20th century. The presidential suite is next on our list, featuring custom-built furniture that requires delicate handling to preserve its historical value. We carefully detach the gold-plated communication devices from the walls, ensuring these valuable artifacts are safely packed for future preservation. It takes our crew several hours to completely strip the luxurious carpets and soundproofing materials from the extensive main cabin area. The cockpit remains untouched for now, while technicians carefully extract classified navigation instruments and secure flight data recorders from the console. Watching the empty shell of this magnificent aircraft brings a strange sense of melancholy to everyone working on the demolition site. With a valuable interior completely removed, the massive metal bird is finally ready to face the heavy demolition equipment waiting outside. The giant hydraulic excavator rolls onto the tarmac, its massive steel tracks grinding against the concrete with a loud, terrifying roar. Our experienced operator positions the machine right next to the iconic blue and white fuselage, preparing for the first destructive bite. The mechanical claw raises high into the air, casting a dark shadow over the faded presidential seal painted on the door. With a deafening crunch, the steel jaws pierce through the aluminum skin, tearing away the first section of the historic fuselage. Metal groans and twists as the powerful hydraulic arm pulls back, ripping a massive hole into the once pressurized passenger cabin. The sheer power of the excavator is truly mesmerizing as it effortlessly crushes the reinforced structure like a fragile aluminum can. Dust and debris fall to the ground as sunlight pierces through the newly exposed interior, illuminating the completely stripped cabin walls. We move the machine toward the front section, where the iconic words "United States of America" are proudly painted in black. The excavator jaws slowly open wide, preparing to consume the very letters that once projected supreme global authority across the skies. It feels almost disrespectful as the steel teeth bite directly into the word America, crushing the painted letters into twisted metal. This specific moment captures a profound sense of shifting eras, reminding us that even the greatest symbols eventually face their end. The operator carefully maneuvers the heavy claw to snap the remaining letters, tearing the entire painted panel away from the frame. Thick wires and insulation materials spill out from the torn fuselage, looking like the mechanical veins of a fallen steel giant. We pause the demolition briefly to inspect the massive engines, which will be carefully detached and sold for specialized scrap metal. The crew uses heavy-duty blowtorches to slice through the reinforced titanium engine mounts, creating showers of bright orange glowing sparks. One by one, the massive jet engines drop onto the protective rubber mats, shaking the ground with a deep, heavy thud. These engines once pushed this flying fortress past the speed of sound, now they are just heavy piles of steel. The excavator returns to work, focusing its attention on the majestic tail section, featuring the classic American flag painted up high. A swift strike from the hydraulic arm brings the towering vertical stabilizer crashing down onto the concrete runway with immense force. We bring in a second sheet equipped with specialized metal cutting shears to slice the fallen tail into more manageable pieces. The sharp blades easily slice through the thick aluminum ribs, reducing the proud tail fin into unrecognizable chunks of twisted scrap. Now, the demolition team focuses on the iconic light blue panels that made this specific aircraft instantly recognizable around the globe. Instead of blindly crushing these blue panels, we carefully cut them out using precise plasma torches to preserve the original paint. These specific sections of the fuselage hold immense historical value for aviation enthusiasts and collectors who cherish presidential history and artifacts. Our workers carry the large blue aluminum sheets into a specialized cutting tent set up right next to the demolition zone. Inside the tent, we use an industrial laser cutter to slice the historic blue metal into perfect 10 by 10 squares. Each small square represents a tangible piece of global history, a tiny fragment of the legendary flying White House for collectors. The laser slices cleanly through the thick paint and aluminum, creating perfectly uniform souvenir blocks that will be sold to public. We carefully laser engrave a special authentication code on the back of every single square to prove its incredible historical origin. It is fascinating to think that a piece of this mighty aircraft might soon sit on a desk in a home. Back outside, the main fuselage has been completely reduced to a massive pile of jagged silver metal and tangled electrical wires. The landing gear remains standing like stubborn metallic tree trunks, refusing to fall even after the entire body has been destroyed. Our heavy-duty crane moves into position to lift the massive wheels while technicians unbolt the complex hydraulic suspension system below. These massive rubber tires absorb the impact of hundreds of historic landings, carrying the weight of the free world every time. Once the landing gear is removed, the remaining bottom half of the fuselage finally collapses onto the tarmac with a crash. The demolition site is now a chaotic landscape of torn aluminum, shattered glass, and scattered insulation blowing in the afternoon wind. We bring in massive dump trucks to begin clearing the smaller debris while the excavators continue processing the larger structural frames. The giant magnetic crane arrives to separate the valuable steel components from the lightweight aluminum shell pieces scattered across the ground. The powerful electromagnet sweeps over the wreckage, pulling up hundreds of steel bolt brackets and hidden structural supports from the pile. Sorting the metals correctly is a crucial part of our demolition process, ensuring maximum recycling efficiency for this massive aerospace project. The aluminum scraps are loaded into a specialized mobile compactor that crushes the loose metal into dense, heavy rectangular transport blocks. Each compressed block weighs several tons and contains the crushed remnants of what used to be a highly secure presidential cabin. As the sun begins to set over the military base, casting a golden glow, the demolition work finally nears its completion. Only a few recognizable pieces remain scattered among the debris, including a heavily dented cockpit window frame reflecting the fading sunlight. The cleanup crew works tirelessly with heavy brooms and industrial vacuums to ensure no sharp metal shards are left behind anywhere. Leaving foreign object debris on an active military runway could cause catastrophic damage to other aircraft currently operating at the base. We carefully inspect every square inch of the concrete tarmac, making sure the entire demolition zone is completely spotless and safe. The final dump truck, loaded with crushed aluminum blocks, slowly drives away from the site, heading toward the specialized recycling facility. It is truly incredible to witness how a massive symbol of ultimate authority can be erased from existence in one day. The contrast between the luxurious walnut interior we saw this morning and the cold, crushed metal blocks now is deeply striking. This entire process serves as a powerful reminder that absolutely nothing lasts forever, regardless of its massive prestige or immense power. Even the most heavily guarded and technologically advanced machines eventually reach the end of their useful lifespan and face the scrap. The 10 by 10 centimeter blue squares we saved are the only surviving legacy of this once magnificent flying presidential fortress. Tomorrow, we will begin shipping these unique historical souvenirs to passionate aviation collectors and history enthusiasts located all around the world. Each tiny piece of painted aluminum carries a silent story of secret diplomatic missions and critical decisions made high above clouds. The empty space on the tarmac feels strangely quiet now, devoid of the massive shadow that the great aircraft once cast. Our heavy machinery sits parked on the edge of the runway, their metal claws resting after a long day of destruction. The mechanics perform their evening maintenance routine, greasing the hydraulic joints and checking the steel tracks of the massive demolition excavators. Demolishing an aircraft of this incredible magnitude requires not just raw mechanical power, but also careful planning and extreme operational precision. We successfully dismantled a legendary piece of history without causing any damage to the surrounding military infrastructure or active base operations. The walnut tables and premium leather chairs we extracted earlier are already being prepared for a highly exclusive historical artifact auction. Proceeds from these luxury interior items will help fund the preservation of other historic aircraft currently sitting in aviation museums nationwide. It brings us great comfort knowing that the most beautiful parts of this airplane will be cherished and preserved for generations. Meanwhile, the recycled aluminum from the fuselage will likely be melted down and forged into completely new, modern commercial aerospace components. The cycle of industrial life continues transforming old retired legends into the fundamental building blocks for the next generation of machines. Our crew gathers for a final debriefing under the bright floodlights, reviewing the safety protocols and success of this massive operation. Everyone feels a unique sense of pride having participated in the careful dismantling of such an iconic and historically significant airplane. We pack up our specialized laser cutting tents and load the remaining equipment into the heavy transport trailers waiting nearby patiently. The base security team performs their final inspection of our work area, confirming that all environmental and safety standards were met. We lock the gates to our temporary demolition zone, officially concluding one of the most memorable projects our company has handled. As we drive away from Andrews Air Force Base, the reality of our destructive yet necessary profession really sinks in deeply. We are the final chapter in the long, glorious life of these incredible mechanical giants that once ruled the open skies. Our work might seem brutal to some, but is an essential part of progress, clearing the path for future innovations. The old must always make way for the new, even when the old is a beautifully crafted symbol of national pride. We hope this episode gave you a unique perspective on the hidden life cycle of this extremely famous and highly powerful aircraft. The sight of the excavator crushing the word America will forever remain one of the most unforgettable moments in our history. It perfectly captures the undeniable truth that time and industrial progress eventually conquer all things regardless of their former global glory. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the final moments of a truly legendary piece of aviation history. If you enjoyed watching this massive demolition project, please consider leaving a like and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel to witness more epic teardowns of these massive and highly fascinating industrial machines. This is Demolition Worker, signing off for now, reminding you that every great structure eventually meets the crushing power of time.